Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. League of Inches podcast. The crew's back together for this Supercoach episode. Our Wednesdays, it's our Tradies edition. Good luck if you have trades left. I really wish I did, but I don't. And there's majority in this video that don't at the moment either. Perhaps that's why we're in head-to-head finals. Perhaps that's why we're probably going to get done very badly the last couple of weeks as well and lose some ranks. But that's what this great game brings us. You've got Jesse, Trav, myself, Joel along for the ride. Boys, how are we feeling? Head-to-head finals week. I think we're all in a couple, and then obviously a couple more weeks left of overall.
Yeah, it's all happening now, isn't it? This is it. This is the big week, the grand final. The regular season's almost over. It's all coming to a nice close if you're in a grand final, which we are. So something to look forward to this week. And then I suppose next week it's just let's get this over with. Let's get this season done. Yeah. Pretty
much. Trav, how you looking?
Mate, I'm always looking good. What a rooster I am, eh? Let's go. Hey, mate, I'm very keen for this week. I've got 2 head-to-head leagues, cashies that I've got with my mate, grand finals, obviously. I'm projected to win one by 300 points and another by 210 points. So obviously we know projections aren't great, but it's pretty good to talk trash with the boys in the Facebook groups. In the lead up to the first match tomorrow and what we do for the weekend. By the way, too, in those 2 grand finals, I've got a trade and they don't. So I'm quite excited. I'm pretty confident I'll use that trade this week too. So I don't, it is what it is. I want to win those head-to-heads and think I've got the depth ready to go. Do you want me to talk about my team last week or just talk about how I'm going?
Yeah, let's quickly get them out of the way. Let's get your scores out of the way. Let's go.
I will just quickly flick over.
Let's go.
So I did really well. I thought I did really well last week. I rose up. Sorry, I did see green arrows. I got 1436. Pretty happy with how I did. As Jesse will say. I rose 752 spots though to 10,887. So I really was a bit disappointed by that. Happy with the score, ecstatic with the score, and disappointed with the rise, and really thought I would lift. In terms of my team, I captained Turbo, just straight seed him first game of the week, and was quite happy with that. Even in a big loss against those atrocious Tigers, he still puts out 158, downgraded from 161. I had McLean and Asako on the bench. I didn't reserve. I avoided both of them. I reserved Iro, played Marju, Young, Karaz, and Garrick. So although Young and Marju only got the 230s, it was better than what McLean and Asako put together. I missed out on the score of JC, so the 59 with JC, because I went all out with my second rowers. So I played Crichton, Nikora, and Ola Kawatu, and I reserved Plath and Katoa. And so that I still got the 44 for Plath, but I missed 15 points. So in terms of the way I pretty much, but I was always going to play Plath in that matchup. I was always playing Plath, and I was always not going to play JC against the Roosters. So it just, for me, I was never going. I'm not worried about that problem. I lost 15 points, but I was always going to do that based off those matchups. So. I'm not too worried about that, and credit to JC for putting up a 59 against the Roosters, and really needed to. I got a 45 from Marnie, saved me in the hooker spot, so I'm pretty happy about that because he's on my.
You love him again.
No, I don't. He's still dead to me with a 45, but pretty much other than Harry Grant, everyone else only got 40 as well. So the hooker spot's a shambles, but if you'll be a very happy Harry Grant owner if you own him. I looked at it a couple of weeks ago. I made a highly suggested trading Hughes out 2 weeks ago against Penrith, and it's kind of come back to bite me. I brought in Walker, but the Cleary out during that game, and what happened. And then Hughes goes and puts up 131 last week. And, it's a 60 point turnaround that I've missed, and that would have been really nice to have. So, yeah, I'm regretting that a little bit, but not so much at the moment because I've still got that trade and deciding what I do with it. So, and I've got Walker playing and Hughes is not playing this week, as we'll talk about. So, yeah, a bit of a long-winded of how I went last week.
I didn't know when that was going to stop, but that was good. We got a real in-depth view of what happened to Trav and got in the mind of Trav on the weekend and how his Supercoach game opened up. And
he says,
Supercoach.
Yeah,
For me,
said,
I won't go as in detail. So obviously, me and Jesse spoke about ours. We've got updates, etc. Ended up finishing on 1,484. Got me 1,179 spots. Actually, got some green arrows once again. 6,859. So,
isn't it amazing how you only scored 50 points, rose more than double the amount of spots in rank in the high area? It's funny how it's worked.
It's the big kahunas. When you got the big kahunas, Supercoach respects that, and they just put me up further. So, thanks, Tommy. Thanks, Tommy Sangstar. Appreciate it, brother. Shout out to you, you legend. Jesse, how'd you go?
Yeah, I got an update on my scores.
Oh,
you blokes did all right, I suppose. Yeah, it wasn't too bad for you guys.
Hey, Joel, do you want to keep going with the pod? Let's go. Move to the next one.
We all can't hit the 1,500, so that's all right. I scored 1,500. It was good. My round increase, it was 20% increase over my overall round. So, how many spots did you go up, Trav? Sorry?
752.
I went up 445. I was like, holy shit, that's bloody huge. For where I am on the overalls, I was like, shit, that's a massive increase. That's bloody a lot. So I'm 1,677 now. Pretty good. It's the best I've been all year. So,
how many points from top spot? He just got a monster score at least last week too.
Oh,
he's won. He's won it. He's done.
Yeah,
well done,
he's locked it in. GG, Bryce's boys. It's a hell of a week. 3,987 he's on. I'm on 29,340. So a lot. That's a hell of a lead.
Goodness me.
That's a hell of a lead.
What did you say he was? 30,000 what?
30,987.
So he's 1,200 points more than you.
Yeah. That's a lot, man. That's an average per round of 1,239.
Because you're, what did you say, 29,700? Are you 29,700?
29,340.
So you're 800 points more than I am. Oh, it's so
He's
funny.
1,600 spots ahead of me.
Gosh. Oh, yeah.
Points, sorry. It's a lot, eh? It's like you're accumulating that. I suppose it's over at the stage 26 weeks, 25 weeks behind us. Yeah, it's you can get away so fast too, because that top pack, and we talk about the 10%, the 10% is really congested from probably much my spot back, or like 2,000 to 10,000 or 16,000. It's very tight, and within a few hundred. But that top 200-300 were just miles away. And in that group, the top 50 had left them. So it's like you can do all this groundwork, making up all these spots, but unless you're in like that very, very top echelon, like no one's catching them. No one's been able to catch them for ages. I think you get left behind, it's all over. So
it's looking good. Tell you what, talking about that, I'm going to quickly segue in and give some shout outs here, because obviously the League of Inches, we've got a few of our head-to-head comps wrapping up this week with some grand finals. Thank you to everyone who was part of it. We had 2 comps running for just a general head-to-head trophy, and that's going to be given out as well. So the first one, the League of Inches head-to-head 2, got Justin against Warwick, the Sticky Fingers against Wolfman. First versus second, so they've gone all the way through, so that's good to see. At the moment, projected Wolfman, who finished second, should be winning that one, but we'll see what happens. Next up, the head-to-head 1. I've got knocked out of both of these comps, by the way, last week. All these There's some good teams out there. Coach T first. He's been killing it. Carl. He's been very good. And then the Garrick Bread. I like that. Old Garrick Bread. Timmy second. He's projected to win in that one at the moment. Next one up is our big. Obviously, our head-to-head comp continues to go for another week after this one, and then the big Creator Cup. Urban legends out there said it couldn't be done. I said never doubt a champion, never doubt a true champion to rise above and do what seemingly someone else in this room has failed to do all year, and that is beat one of the GOATs himself, Savs. I did it. Did it once again, ladies and gentlemen. It wasn't Trav, guys. It was Jesse. He's kryptonite this year. But I did it. So it's an all League of Inches affair on the Creator Cup. So just to peel back the curtain, I made up the Creator Cup this year with just a whole heap of creators out there who were doing Supercoach. Some weren't. A lot of out there that has some very good teams out there, and very congested sort of ladder. This one we sort of came from the clouds a little bit in the end, and I think we finished third and fourth throughout this season, and then we've ended up coming in. Here we are. I'm at the moment projected to win this one. So Jesse obviously hasn't played around with his team. He's leaving me in suspense.
You don't see it. You don't see it until the round starts. I'm projected to win as well. So it hasn't. It doesn't update until the first game. But I think when you put Val Holmes in with his like 122 projection, you will be ahead of me. So because I don't have him. But our teams are very similar. We don't have many differences. That's the problem. But the ones that you do have, Holmes, Toto, I don't know. You got a couple. I've got what? Turbo.
He hasn't scored good the last 2 weeks. I need him to.
Yeah. And then I've got Kyle Euro. Shit. Tarpany. Ponga. Fucking Jesse Arthurs this week.
Oh, look out. This is going to be close, guys.
This
is going to be a good one. I'm keen as to see this. Just to shout out.
Jesse's just going for overall. He doesn't care about head-to-heads.
Oh, yeah. He keeps saying that. He wants this bad. I know he does. It'll be funny to see how much he gives away tonight, actually. I'm going to be writing down some notes as we go. League of Inches draft, the inaugural season. Obviously, most out there already know, but we are expanding it next year to probably 2 competitions. Really keen to get that happening. There'll be promotions, relegations, the like. But the final for this one, I was the minor premiers. We spoke about it in our live show earlier tonight. I should have been given a lot more reward than what I did. I mean, bundled out in the week before the granny, unfortunately. Jesse is through with Zach as well. At the moment, Zach is projected to win this one. And I put a bit of a poll out there in our group chat, and Zach came out as the favorite by, I think it was 6 votes to 3. I think the last time I checked it. So I don't know if that's because everyone just thinks Jesse's an asshole, or they just think Zach has the better team.
That's all it is.
It's good luck though, Jesse. It's been a fun draft. I think it's been a good crew we've had. Apart from maybe one, but we've had majority. Everyone's been involved. It's been really, really cool, and it's great things moving forward as well. And thank you to everyone else out there who's part of the League of Inches comps this year. It's been very, very fun and good to see the sort of community that we've got.
Yeah, no, like obviously I'm stoked to be in a draft final with all the hype around draft, which is great. It's a shame it's not against you, because it would have been nice to go head to head against you twice and beat you twice. But no, credit to Zach too. He's got a great team, and I'll have to go back, as he did say that I called his team shit in the pre-draft reviews, and I don't remember doing that. And if I looked at his team now and he hasn't made too many changes, I can't imagine I'd say that team was shit, because it's bloody good. I'll give it to him. He's got a bloody good side, and I am very worried about it this week because he's got some bloody guns, man. He's got some guns, but my team's good too. So no, it'll be a good final to the draft. It'll be a good final to the Creators Cup. Yeah, and good luck to everyone that's in all the League of Inches head-to-heads. Like, well done. Credit to you getting this far.
Trav, you're not part of it this year, but I tell you what, I know you're ready to rip and tear next year.
Certainly am. Can't wait. 2025. Let's go.
Now, this is the
But,
part of the show,
I
guys.
need the rest of this year to slow down so the Storm. I can savor the Storm premiership. So
I just want to save my Supercoach premierships, hopefully. This is the part of the show. I hand over the reins, guys. I know this. Both of these boys have been doing a remarkable job in Supercoach. Most of the weeks I'm out because of obviously the live show happening, and I just feel like they're both doing such a good job. I'll be in the background sort of thing. I'll chime in here and there, but I'm not the expert here. The other two here are. I'll let Jesse take over the hosting duties, and I'll just be popping in and out with some random thoughts in my head about Supercoach this week.
Beauty. Well, we'll crack off with some team lists because obviously it's pretty relevant around head-to-heads and restings and the like. So the first game, we've got the Cowboys up against Melbourne. So this is the team that's basically just fielded an entire reserve side from Melbourne. For the Cows, Finifuaki's injured. He's got a hand injury, but we see Nanai come back into the starting lineup as well with Tamalolo too. So a couple of changes. Sam Agatai goes to the bench. McKaylee's out with his hamstring. And that's pretty much 1 to 17 outside of those blokes. Everything's the same, and they're back from their bye, so you'd expect them to rip and tear at home, especially against this Storm outfit. So, bloody hell, where do we start with them? So the guys that are still the same from last week, Pappenhausen and Munster. Outside of that, the entire side is different. For Supercoach-wise relevancy, I suppose, obviously Munster's running the ship. You've lost Ali Katoa. Harry Grant's out. Jerome Hughes is the biggest one, I would say. That's out of it too. Bloody hell. It definitely is easier to say who is still there. But it's a very different team for Melbourne. McDonald at lock. Joe Chan, for all the Joe Chan holders, are still there. He's starting, so it's a bit of a sweet reprieve for anyone that has a Katoa at the same time. Bradley's in the second row. Tyron Wishart's a 9. I still like Tyron Wishart as an option, obviously, but as a 9, we'll have to just see how he goes. But Farlungo's as a winger. The rest of the side, I wouldn't worry about, not for Supercoach. So what do you guys reckon about this one? How do you think this game goes in general?
I'm really, really, really surprised Munster's been named. I dare say he doesn't play next week. And they just haven't sat everybody this week. But I'm not so surprised about Pappenhausen. I can see why he's, but again, if you're going to rest everyone, why not rest those two as well? But I'm particularly concerned about Munster and why he's playing. But yeah, if you've got him, everything's literally going to go through him. If he doesn't touch the ball 3 times each set every time, there's something wrong. So he's a sneaky little VC option.
Yeah, definitely
for this week because literally everything's going to go through him. If you own him, other than that, really, like I'm looking at the Storm list, I'm surprised even like in the reserves, Josh King, Liero, and Meany got named. None of them are Supercoach relevant, but just the fact that their name just screams to me about what the hell's going on. And then in terms of the Cowboys, I think you'd be a very happy Val Holmes owner this weekend with coming up against a second-rated Melbourne Storm fan. If you own him, if you're still holding on to Drinkwater, you're a very happy Drinkwater fan too, because I think he's in for a big game. I'm a Robson owner, so I've immediately swapped him for Marnie and put him on the ground because I think he's ready to play. He's going to have a big game as well. And if you're not going to VC Munster and you wanted to do a bit of a pod with Munster, but you want to go more of a vanilla sort of play, Val Holmes for a VC this weekend is huge. I think he's going to have a monster score. So, and we'll talk more about the captains, but yeah, that's certainly a play.
Joel? Bragging away.
Yeah,
there. Look at him sit back and slouched. Hello, guys. I've got Val Holmes.
I love that VC shout because I think I'm doing exactly the same thing. And then I've just got to work out my C options, but we'll talk about that later. Initially, when this team list came out, I actually thought to myself, how good would it be owning either Pappenhausen or Munster because they're going to be super busy and they'll probably score well. But then the more I think about it, I'm sort of like, will they actually be going like 100%? Like will they just be out there to just make sure the troops get around the park and some of
Mm.
these younger guys and that do what they got to do? And will they really be putting their best foot forward? Like, there's obviously huge plans at the Storm right now, and rightfully so, for a big tilt at this grand final and taking the comp out. So you don't want to risk. The Storm need both of these to play to make sure they win the grand final if they get there. So I'm more hesitant the more I think about those two in terms of what they'll actually score. Love the fact if you're a Wishart owner still, he's got the hooker role. He'll be very busy in playing hooker and probably run once a set from a hooker. He's one of those types of players. So he'll look pretty dangerous. Like the Cowboys, yes, they're full strength, but they're being leaky still in defense. So I still think there'll be some points in this game from both sides. I'm actually looking forward to watching this one. And I'm a Joe Chan owner still. I don't know why. I've just kept him in my team. Always had issues. And I thought originally I'd have to be playing him. And I was like, you know what? Starting, I'm happy with that. I've actually worked out. I don't even think I need to play him. I've got enough coverage everywhere. So I'm all right.
Surprised you still have him. Bloody hell.
I don't know
suppose
how.
it's hard to get rid of him. I suppose when he dropped his 150K max
Yeah.
price that he made and he lost that, it's like, well, where do you go from here, sort of thing. I reckon Melbourne still take it out though.
Oh, okay.
Drop the mic.
I put a 50 plus on this one. 50 overall total points.
I was like, hang on.
With Melbourne
hang on.
and something, I was like, oh, I'll take that. That's good money. This is before the team list come out. So I jumped on it. I thought, mate, as well. Why not? I'm happy to lose $20.
$3.
Send it over to League Winches.
$3.47, I think it was.
Yeah.
So we got the Dogs up against Manly. So super keen for this one. Stephen Crichton's out with a suspension, so Jacob Kras goes into the centres again. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Skelton on the wing, and Josh Curran looks like he's back from a shoulder injury too, so that's massive for them. Any Josh Curran owners out there, and kind of a shitty go for Sam Hughes owners, but just depends if he actually makes it to the park. I suppose he'll have time to find out. For Manly, Tommy Talau's back in, so he makes his way back into the side in the centres this time. Leo Boadi keeps the wing spot, and surprisingly enough, Tolatau Kula is on the bench. So outside of that, yeah, nothing too relevant changes. It's the same team as running out as always, but unusual for Manly to drop Kula to the bench for Talau in the centres, considering Talau's been a winger the entire year. And what purpose does Kula serve off the bench? What do you think?
I would have to say Kula had the worst game I've ever seen him play last week. I feel like if they didn't drop him and make an example out of it, I think Sebo would be stepping in some dangerous territory. I think he's done the right move. I probably would have just dropped him completely because I don't get what he's going to do off the bench. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Unless it's just purely coverage, because still in the back of their mind, mainly they just keep thinking Turbo. You never know what's going to happen with him. It could happen. You don't want it to happen. No one wants it to happen, touch wood. But that might be at the back of their minds.
Trav?
I agree. I actually think I don't mind the play of Kula in the 14 because he can really play. He can play that fullback. He can go to the centres. He can play in the wings. I think there's plenty. You've always got the concern around a Garrick head knock as well. So yeah, I don't mind the play of Kula sitting there, and we know Kula's good. Like, he can play. He was a spud last week, but so were many of the Manly boys. This is an interesting game. And I'll say this as we know that Bulldogs are very, very good defensively, really good. If you have, so I'm just reading my notes here that I've written, but if you have good depth this week, I think there is a certain play for not playing some of these guys. I think Garrick is a bit of a concern. I mean, and I'm tempted. No, I'm not going to, but I'd be tempted. If I had a couple of dudes on the bench, I've got a Sarko, so I don't really want to do it. But and McLean's not picked, so I can't do it. But if you've got a bit of depth there, Garrett could be could be a no play this week option against the Bulldogs. I'm happily own Turbo, but I'm certainly not going to throw any VC or captain on him this week against the Bulldogs. Although I do think Turbo is matchup proof. I don't think he's matchup proof against the Bulldogs to get anything more than 120. So I'm hesitant with that. So I'm playing a bit conservative with the Manly boys this week because I really do rate how the Bulldogs. I'm very highly spoken about the Bulldogs and rate them a lot. So I have the play of just be a bit wary with some of your Manly boys.
Yeah,
no concerns about no Crichton for the Bulldogs?
Nah, I don't think so. No, I think as good as he is, Crichton. I think they're able to replace him. I think they've been able to do it. I mean, his leadership's important, but in saying that, he's been there this year. It's his first year there. I don't have any major concerns about how good. I think the Bulldogs are going to be able to fill in for him, no worries, and I think they'll just be fine. I mean, they're a team. They're not a team of. They're literally a team. But,
Yeah, there's more to the Bulldogs than just Stephen Crichton this year. He's a massive part of it. I think their improvement does come down to a lot of his input, obviously on the field, leadership-wise, and even just his quality. But I think overall, the team as a unit are excellent, and I think that they'll make up for him not being there.
Yeah, 100%, and he'll be there anyways. He's still got to be around. So I think his presence is just good enough.
Yeah, for sure. But with these two teams as well, it's just like you've got an immovable object and an unstoppable force. And you've got one of the best defensive side, well, the best defensive side in the Dogs coming up. It's depending on how Manly are going when they're humming, looking like up there with the best attacking sides too. They're well going to cancel each other out if that's the case. But that's why I think it's probably going to be the best game of the week. Genuinely, I think it's just going to be the most exciting one. So very keen to see that. Next up, we've got the Panthers and the Rabbits. So for Penrith, Mitch Kenny's back in from his suspension. They've lost 2 in a row now. They need to do something here. He's changed the back line up. Taruva's come back in with Alamotti. So they've dropped Laurie and McLean. We'll talk about that in a second. For the Rabbits, Cameron Murray will miss the match after failing to have his high tackle charge downgraded. So he's
3 weeks.
He's out for 3 weeks. Yeah, so he's gone basically for the year. So that sees him out. We kind of knew that was going to happen last week. Cheekham looks like he's on the way back in to replace his spot. And Cody Walker is set to return too, outside the same side. So interesting decision, I suppose, for the Dane Laurie drop. I would say I can understand the McLean one. He was filling in for Alamotti with his fractured arm, but bloody hell, Laurie's been good, man. Dan Laurie's been very good. But they've lost they've lost the games that Taruva hasn't played. I'm pretty sure I saw something there for Penrith. So what do you think that? Because that's pretty big.
I don't understand the McLean drop for Alamotti.
No?
I think McLean's been fantastic. And yeah, Alamotti's good and he's been pretty good, but God, he's been fantastic. Okay, he had a stinker last week. So did the whole bloody team. They lost to the friggin' Raiders. I don't understand that. I mean, Laurie was, I think I read somewhere and thought that the Laurie drop is because he's not a winger, and he's not a center. So, they've got him as a fullback and he filled that void for a couple of weeks, but they've obviously realized going into finals, that's not where he's playing. So let's get ready for the finals. So I don't see a problem with that one, but the Rabbitohs, I have zero interest in talking about.
That's fair. I think it's that point of the year now where it's just like, let it die. But to drop Laurie entirely, not even put him in the 14, I was very surprised considering they've still got Tolau on there. So what do you reckon, Joel?
I think it's a reflection of no Nathan Cleary. I think Ivan Cleary just wants to put a bit more experience in and around the place. So that's why Turuva comes back. Alamotti, I think taking the Supercoach glasses off, I think McLean has shown a couple of glimpses of weakness the last week or two with his game, and just he's very young still. Let's not forget he's very, very young. He's going to be a great talent. I just think Alamotti was also very, very good when he was able to have his games and put them together for the Penrith Panthers at the throughout this year as well. So I think against the Bunnies, get Alamotti back in. You know what you're going to get from McLean. Give him a go and say, give me 2 weeks to show you deserve to play finals football.
Yeah, I say it because Watruba's leaving too as well. So
yeah,
they've got to get him out there. We got the Eels and the Dragons. So for the Eels, 1 to 17, full strength. If you can call any side the Eels put out full strength. Sorry, Joel. Nothing to really.
I'm
change
even
them.
laughing. That's a joke.
Yeah. So full strength Eels side. The Dragons basically full strength too. They just see Fatala Barron to come back to the bench, and Moses Sully is on the extended, so he could possibly make his return after a few weeks out. I think it was a knee injury. So, anything to touch on with these two?
Oh man, I am super high on Lomax this week, and I'm not an owner of him, but damn, I'm so big on him.
He's
if you're those that have him, you are lucky. I am super high on him. I want to look at that. I'll wait till tomorrow, but I really want to look at the odds on everything I can for Lomax this weekend because I far out. I wish I had got on Liddell or Little again. Is it Liddell or Little?
Little.
Little.
So I wish I was a Little owner. Especially, and those that have Harry Grant are probably sitting there saying, if you've got a trade, I'd be going Harry Grant to Little in a heartbeat with their next 2 matchups. If you've got someone that you can do, I'd just be doing that because even if Harry Grant plays next week, which more than likely he does, he's definitely not going to go at 100%. So nor do I think he'll play the whole game. I think he'll just go and get some run his legs and tick the heart over and then play. But and in terms of the para, I'm a very happy Dylan Brown still owner this week. I think even with the rubbish he's put up for most this year and the rubbish he put up last week, I'm a happy Dylan Browner. I'm going to give him another chance against the Dragons, who I don't think are defensively all that good. Have just been quite lucky to put it on here and there and matchups and other ways and wins and things that other teams have sort of helped them stay where they are. Yeah, please. I wish, geez, if I had a genie next to me that said you can have 3 Supercoach wishes, Zach Lomax would be my very first wish.
Yeah, well, he's my VC this week, Joel. I'll give you that one. Confidently too. Super keen for that.
Yeah, but you don't have
I was thinking about it because I honestly think the guarantee of the week for mine is a Lomax hat trick. I think it is a specialty. He will just, that's all I want to talk about. I think Lomax will get a hattie.
Then you need to put your captain on him.
Mate, honestly, I'm in the same boat as Jesse when he speaks about Roosters Tedesco on the Sunday. There's something that doesn't quite go well with me about it. And I honestly was thinking about the C on Lomax. I've been tossing it up.
Makes sense, man. I just got that feeling. I don't know. Normally I go in there and I'm like, sweet, nah, Teddy's a lock. But this week I'm like, for whatever reason, I don't know what it is. I don't know.
You boys just got no idea. Don't tell our listeners that rubbish. This is blasphemy.
It is.
Teddy is going to own the Raiders on Sunday afternoon. My gosh, like what did he do against the Para in a freaking dam? Like,
yeah. Raiders just beat
Stop speaking to our listeners with this blasphemy. And I'm not even a bloody Teddy owner. Not even.
I'll go another one. I'll go against you. Sorry, Trav, but I wouldn't be playing Dill Brown this week. I think Dill Brown's completely switched off for the year. I don't think he wants to be a footy player.
There you go.
That's rough.
I'm done with it.
That is very rough. But remember, he's a salty Para fan.
True.
It's me.
Yeah. No. There is merit, I suppose, to not play him, but it's the Dragons. Like you don't not play Dylan Brown against the Dragons, as bad as they have been going.
They don't want the spoon.
It was only the Broncos last week. It was only the Broncos.
They don't want the spoon. They're gonna. Dill Brown's gonna be sitting there trying to follow Gutho as he tries to drag everyone across the mud to get them over a win, as you guys said on the try time potty the other day.
They just got to find a way. But I don't think it's more of much a want thing. I don't think anyone wants the spoon. I just don't think they can avoid it. Sorry, Joel. Dolphins and
I'll take it.
Broncos. Bit of fun.
Game.
Pangai Jr. and Marshall King are both in the resi, so they could make their way back. Especially Marshall King will be a huge addition for him after such a long layoff. Nikorima and Bromwich, Jesse Bromwich are due to sit out with concussion. Sean O'Sullivan and Nichols are in the starting side, so slight change up, nothing too drastic. For the Broncos, Payne Haas is somehow making an early return from a foot injury. It blows my mind how he's managed to do that, but Bentancur is also set for his...
talk.
Yeah, I suppose. Just speed up a 12-week injury in 4. It's miraculous. Takura is set for his first game back in since round 5 as well, because Kobe Hetherington is out with a concussion, so concussion's wreaking havoc on this matchup. But man, Payne Haas on his way back through. This is huge. It's massive for I suppose definitely for a head-to-head final prospect of it, but front row options for a trade-in. You think Payne Haas is worthy of a trade-in this week? I think it's a resounding no. It doesn't seem like it. It's a very quick return from this injury.
It's a Liz Frank injury. He's not coming back. I reckon they're just playing silliness. He's in the reserves. He's not going to get named.
No,
unless they've run out of squad members to name.
Yeah,
they just ran out of players.
Squad members to name, and they've just gone. You know what? Throw them in.
Yeah,
you can't be playing around with front row forwards at this time of the year. It's not
with a Liz Frank injury.
No. I've seen so many people bringing him in this week too. But like, if your front row is consisting of, Curran, who's potentially a doubt, maybe Fainu, who's on a bye, like if your front row is dead thin and you've got an option to make for a head-to-head final.
If they're the only dudes you've had in the front row forward, you're not in the top 10%.
Probably not. Yeah, you're not making a head-to-head final.
It doesn't. Yeah.
I just see so many trade-ins for a Payne Haas option this week.
Doesn't.
Yeah, bloody surprising. Anything else with these teams?
Yeah, so there is a couple. I don't think Jeremy Marshall King plays, although he's been named in the reserves. However, if potentially he does, because there's a bit of doubt around Max Plath. So like me, if you're a Max Plath owner, just be a bit wary and watch the team list around what happens with him. I think the Jermaine Osako play this week against, like as we said, the Broncos is the other, the fantasy gold mine beside West Tigers. So what do we call them? The West Tigers juniors, basically. They're, so I think Jermaine Osako's in for a decent score against a pretty weak edge of the Brisbane Broncos, and I'm a happy player of him. So you look at that option too.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Still, everything's Herbie these days, so kind of kills that right edge for the Dolphins. How good their left side is. Who's that make him run up against? Sorry?
I've got nothing for this one. Absolutely
nothing for this one? Yeah, that's fair enough. Next one, Sharks and Warriors. So SJ's final goodbye, I suppose. Saying goodbye to the Sharkies. Nico Hines is on the way back through, which is huge for everyone out there that still has a trade left to get a halfback. So Hines is set to make his return. Sione Katoa's back through. Mulatalo's out again, so he'll be gone for this season right now, I'd imagine. I don't think it's a flare-up of his knee injury, so not really looking too far there. But Talakai makes his way into the centres for Jesse Ramian, who unfortunately is suspended in his most important matchup of the year. For the Warriors, Sean Johnson set to say goodbye. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck will miss out due to his HIA last week, and Chancellor Klokstad moves to the centres. Torpiki's at fullback. So I suppose this chance to the centre push it's actually happened, but it's the week that Roger's not there. So bit of an unfortunate one. What do you reckon?
Roger fullback 2025. Put your house on it.
Yep. Love to see it.
Yeah.
Where does that leave?
Yeah, I love it, but other than AFB, who is named to play this week but isn't playing next week, is the only news out of the bloody Warriors, because otherwise there's nothing there for that. I don't even think there's anything to be considering for if you're a head-to-head player or if you've even got the trades. Put the R or put him straight on the field in Eero and be very happy to play Nickera this weekend.
Yep.
And I'm waiting very eagerly as to whether Nico Hines gets named. And if he does, he is going to be a welcome addition to my boys for Cleary.
Who drops out? Atkinson.
I don't care.
It's mad. I think it's the most relevant question that you're going to get because Atkinson is the glue to unlocking the halfback that plays in that side. Honestly, they don't play well together. Trindle and Hines haven't been good. You put Atkinson in there with either of the two of them, and they become a weapon. Well, Hines is already a gun, but Jesus, Trindle anchors him down, something fierce.
I'd keep Atkinson in. I'd actually just keep it the way it is. I wouldn't rush Hines back. I'd give him another week. What's the point? They're guaranteed finals.
Then what's the risk of bringing him back now besides re-injury?
Yeah, I just wouldn't do it yet.
Fitness, minutes in the legs.
That's it.
They've arguably played their best game for like 2 months last week. So let them keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah, well, they're playing like they've managed to find ways without him. It's like, do you really mess that up? But I suppose like you're not going to not play Nico when he's fit, so you need to at least get him in there now to try and start gelling.
Put him in New South Wales Cup. New South Wales Cup for the week.
Imagine coming up against Nico in New South Wales Cup. Holy shit!
Get the run under his legs.
Yeah, bloody hell. Sunday's games, these are going to be good fun. The Knights and the Titans. So Bradman Best is back for the Knights. Been huge addition, especially big bonus for Greg Marzu out there. I think that really spells good stuff for the left edge for them. Frizzell took an absolute beating and got knocked out. And Pierce Paul ripped his leg right open. So they're both out this week. Nice way to put it. Dylan Lucas and Brody Jones, the new second rowers. So bit of drama happening there for the Knights. You love that, Joel. For the Titans, Brimson is over. He's out for this year. Not like it ever really kicked off for him. He's going to get groin surgery. So I suppose, why didn't they just do that earlier when they kind of knew it was relevant and had to happen? Phil Sammy's back in the centres. Yeah, it's horrible for him. Sammy's back into the centres, and that's it. Everything else remains the same. So what do we think of this one? Couple of things here.
Trav? Ponga the Sea is obviously a very good play.
Yeah, I see that, but
old boys' day, isn't it? This is their last home game, I think, for the Knights. Mining round as well.
Titans are ugly, man. The Sea on Ponga is a really good play. That's where I'm going with that.
Don't downplay it.
It's pretty good. Like, it's good because it's on a Sunday.
Titans are ugly.
You know what I mean?
I'm not a Teddy owner, though. So I'm really, really, really adamant that you guys just have no idea. And that Sunday, the Teddy option for captain is the play. If you're a Teddy owner, I am not a Teddy owner. So I have to find other bloody options. And Ponga is that option. Listeners, if you're a Teddy owner, bloody captain him and don't listen to these blasphemous idiots. Ponga is my play. I'm really, like, as much as all the talk and everything that I've read, Marzu is very highly rated for this week and next week, and I'm very concerned. I'm just not seeing it. I was very lucky. I brought him in early when he got those 2 big hundreds, but then since then it's been pretty much nothing. I'm not high on him. I'm really not. And whilst they talk about Bradman Best coming back as a boost, I'm just not seeing it from what I've seen for this year. And so I'm conscious of playing him this week. If you're a Dane Gagai owner, or if you've got trades, find a way to get Dane Gagai in, because that man's a monster. And I actually consider, I think you said this on Jesse on the Rand review pod about how good he's been, and just plug and play him and let him go. Like, I actually thought about that this year, just plug and play and just not even think about it. And I didn't do it at this start, and I'm really regretting it. And how good's hindsight, but really, really regretting it. And then in terms of the Titans, nothing interests me at all other than that I'm a JC owner and I'll play him this week because they play in the Knights and I'm comfortable to play him. I'll put an R on him. But, otherwise I couldn't care less about the Titans. They're ugly, man. They were ugly last week.
Yeah, they've been pretty ugly for a while. Joel?
I think Fafita's a play as well. I think he might be able to do something.
We've been saying that about him for weeks, and he just hasn't done much.
He's fallen off since that Origin stuff. I haven't seen the
Still
same
getting
Fafita,
enough
honestly.
to just go, you know what, all good.
I haven't thought about that since not selected for Origin. You really think that's been a play in his head?
Must be. Surely it kind of coincides at the same time that he fell off a cliff because he was, 80s, 90s to 100s every single week with ease up until he wasn't selected for whatever reason, God knows. And last week he scored 40 something, and he's been averaging quite low. It's not good.
Is this the two most underrated Supercoach player in the competition cup or something? Gagai against Kelly?
Oh yeah, 100%. What a good call!
I love it.
What a good call! I'm such a big fan of both of them.
Yeah. I think if you've got both of them in your side, probably racks up. So I reckon there's probably 3 people in all of Supercoach that do. God, they're such nice pods that never ever catch on. They just don't. But for whatever reason, they definitely warrant a start and a good purchase every week. Gagai's a fucking weapon. He's been killing it for so long. Last week was just insane. But
that's all I got. So I'm happy to go to the Roosters game. So obviously what we want to talk about.
Let's talk about this one.
Roosters Raiders, big one. Brandon Smith and Connor Watson are both back on deck, which is beautiful. Sawali and Warrior Hargraves out. Michael Jennings back into the centres, and Spencer Lenu's in the starting side. So unfortunately, it's not Terrell May.
That's all right.
Ewing. We'll get there. His minutes off the bench are fine. No changes for Ricky Stewart. Raiders are the same. So massive. Yeah. The Teddy captain. This is the big one. What I love about this option, especially for the Ponga owners out there too, is they both play on a Sunday. So you can kind of just see how your matchup's looking, especially for your head-to-heads. And if they've captained a Teddy, have a look at Ponga. I suppose you've got all week to see it, and you can do the old switch right before the game. But I'm a big fan of it. But I don't know. I just have that, when you just get that feeling about it. I could very easily be changed my mind. I think going into the round, I think it could shift over, and the Raiders can leak massive points. But Trav, you're obviously very vocal about the fact that you think this is going to be a battering. Where do you reckon the players are for this? Obviously, Young, Manu, Teddy.
Anywhere in the Roosters team, man, put a C on every one of them. Go and load up on 6 of them, because they're all going to get monster scores. Like, come on now. Yeah, so all right. Last week they beat Penrith 22-18. Cleary just got injured, right? But otherwise Penrith had basically their team. And Dylan Edwards is back. So like, let's not read that into that too much. The week before that, they lost to the Cowboys 42-4. The week before that, they lost to Manly 24-46. The week before that, they lost to the Bulldogs by 4 points, 22-18. Then they smashed the Rabbitohs, big whoop. They beat the Warriors by 2. The Warriors are ugly. Like, they had the bye. They lost to the Raiders by 4. So the game against Penrith was a game that I said they were smoky. That was my smoky game for that. And I could see it happening solely only because Cleary was injured. They are going to get smoked on Sunday afternoon. It's just lock it in, man. If you're not a Teddy owner, but you're a Dom Young owner, lock in 3 tries. You want to say that Zach Lomax is your guarantee for a hat trick. Dom Young's going to get a hat trick. He had a stinker last week. He's got to make up for it. He's locking that in. Manu is going to have a big game. Freaking Crichton will put up 3. Bloody Sam Walker will have 6 freaking try assists. Like, it's man, like, why are we even bothering? Raiders are ugly. They're horrible. Well, they're not horrible. That's not the right. No, don't. I don't want to talk about that anymore.
Just reading into it wrong. I freaking hope you're right. Honestly, I really
No,
do.
you're a bloody Roosters fan. I can't believe
I
I'm
know.
telling you this shit. Like,
That's what I mean.
holy
I'm just
God.
like, oh, I don't know. It's just I don't know about this one for no reason too.
Or
There's no
because they
stats
beat
behind it.
Penrith last week at home. Come on now.
No, it's
And
not that.
and Penrith probably looked at it going, oh, man, I've got to go to that crap holes Canberra and play them over there. Like,
Yeah, and I suppose the whole thing in Canberra makes it a bit different too, but it's not that. It's not just last week's game. You know when you just look at a game and just go, oh, I don't know about this one. Like you called it the Smoky, and you just had that feeling about it.
yeah, but there
I
was
don't
reasons.
know.
Like Cleary, just the best player in the competition, just got injured. There's a
Yeah, but in the
reason
best
why
team
that's
in the
smoky.
competition.
But there's a reason why you can have that. What's the reason that Canberra are going to come up against a full strength Roosters team that's bloody literally chugging along? Like, just doesn't.
No idea. Doesn't make sense.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't even hope I'm wrong. Like at the end of the weekend and the Raiders win, I'm gonna have a massive go at the Roosters and go, how the hell did you lose that game? Like it doesn't. So yeah,
Got to get
it
a loss
doesn't
in the
make
four
it.
finals somewhere. Joel?
I'm on Jesse's side of the fence on this one. I don't know. I feel like Sunday is going to cause mayhem when it comes to these head-to-head finals. I'm going to be stressing, but I'm also all for it. So let's
I
just see
reckon
what happens.
Storylines, boys. Storylines.
Brent Robertson's going to go to the boys before the game and he's going to say, look, it's a lot of Supercoach head-to-head finals this week. You blokes are heavily owned.
Mate,
I
the
don't like
Roosters have been
Supercoach.
working their absolute backside off to get to second spot. They've just got themselves there. They're not going to want to lose that.
Oh, that's fair. I
Yeah.
don't know. I just seen something in the Raiders last week that scares me a bit. So
Yeah.
let's see what happens.
Anyway,
Oh,
done with that.
right.
That went a lot longer than I
uh,
thought it would.
How good was
It
Daniel
did.
Tupou? Damn,
Oh,
he's a gun.
How many trades you blokes got?
0.
0? Trav?
I have one.
You're sitting on 1.
Mm-hmm.
God, there's a
What
lot
about
of
you,
people that
Jesse?
wish. Me, I have 0. I've had 0 since last week. I used my last trade last round, getting Sam Walker in. I did also contemplate the waiting on the Nico Hines thing. I did mention that, but then I thought, you know what? I want Sam Walker. I want Sam Walker for this run. I think it's just too valuable for it. So, the popular trades this week. Has something changed on the app, or am I looking at the wrong thing? I certainly am. I'm in draft. I was wondering why nothing was happening for it. I was
It's
like,
late.
this is different. There's obviously the Melbourne guys. They're the big ones, and you can get away with it if you just focus on your head-to-heads and you've got big money to spend, and you might have 1-2 trades left. Drop your Melbourne players. You know what I mean? You don't need them next week. It's the last week of your overalls. You could probably field a full side without them anyway. And there's good value in the players. But the most popular trade this week is Grant to Little, and I love it. I think for a hooker, if you don't have a backup or you've got like a Hands or a Lussick or someone rubbish and it's going to cost you a final, you need to make that hooker trade as much as you don't want to. And I think Little is by far and away the best option right now. So what are your thoughts there as the most popular trade for a hooker as well? I suppose it's just dependent, but I don't think...
It's literally just for points, isn't it? Like Harry's not playing. He's been rested. You've got no, as you said, you've got no one else. I think both of you boys have got non-playing hookers as your bench option. Like, yeah, it's literally just score points. If we look at the top 10%, that's also the top play in the top 10%, 1,050. That's everyone in the top 10% is the play of Harry Grant to Liddell or to Little. So they need the points. Everyone's running one hooker. Yeah, it's a no-brainer, and I really like it. I think Little is he's the easy play. He's the one that's playing the next 2 weeks. The Dragons are finals contention. And he's been awesome.
Yep. In the top 10% as well, second most popular trade, Nathan Cleary to Nico Hines. So I do like it. Obviously, if Nico gets named, which everyone's kind of expects that he will, he's the best option you're going to get. But it really just depends on fitness and how well he goes. But it's funny when you kind of expand on that and you go all coaches, it's Sam Walker. So just the top pack, really, they really want Hines back in. I don't mind it. I think it's a fair play. Trav, you doing that this week? You don't like
Yeah.
it?
No.
Not a fan.
I'd
Why?
still be choosing Sam Walker over Nico Hines.
I suppose for all the points
Like,
that Trav made about how many try assists that Sam Walker's going to get this week, you take that
Yeah.
considering Nico's come back off an injury. But
Yeah.
you were saying, Trav, sorry.
No, I really like the Cleary to Hines trade, and I'm going to do it. It's very hard this week to do it, though, and the 24-hour teams really needs to be, you need to be watching that really, really closely because Penrith play the day before. So you just got to be very mindful of what's going to happen there and what they're doing. I really like it. That's what I'm looking at doing, but I'm also a Sam Walker owner already. So for me,
Yeah.
I've got Cleary sitting on the bench with the waiting to see what I do.
Yeah. I think if you're in a position where your halves are Jerome Hughes and Cleary, which mine were going into this or last week when I traded Cleary out, you've got the luxury of being able to just see if Hines is going to get named first before having to go to Sam Walker. It's perfect. You've got yourself no halves this week, and you're going to get yourself one of the two. I think you just give yourself the chance to see if Hines is named. It's really good. Next most popular trade is back in for Little with Coruscant out, obviously on a buy, so that makes sense. Cleary to Walker makes sense. Eli Katoa to Angus Crichton. I love that. I think if you don't have Crichton already, it's a perfect opportunity to get him. It's a bit too late, I would say, to be trading Crichton in now after the season that we've had. But a few more Cleary trade out. Burton, Luai. What do you think?
I don't like the Luai trade. Geez, he was horrible last week, though, but I don't like that. I'm a very, very big fan of the Burton trade and like that. And Burton showed last week and showed everyone that spoken against him that he does have upside. He got that upside last week. So, however, that's his first sort of upside game. So, hopefully, he continues that. Problem is, he plays against Manly this week. So, yeah, it's got to be a big play for him to get that, and I don't see it for this week against Manly. So based off the matchups, I'm not the biggest fan of those ones. I mean, if I was a Cleary owner still, I'd be looking at and you don't have Walker, I probably would hold. I don't think Burton or Luai is a really good play this week.
Yeah. You know, it's funny too. Like you look at the halves that like people are still trading Cleary out. He's only been gone for a couple of weeks, so it's not a big deal to hold on to him. But now that the finals have rolled around, you're seeing Hines come back through. You're seeing obviously Sam Walker's great option. He was really good option last week. Burton and Luai, but the most popular trade in last week was Cherry Evans.
Mm-hmm.
He's not even close to getting looked at right now. It's like it looks like a massive rush of blood right now, I'd say, but obviously the appeal of Cherry Evans last week after a quite average game, it doesn't change going into it, but now their matchups are tricky. They got the Dogs. They got it all. So
I'm going to say the opposite a bit here. I actually love Burton's matchup. I actually think Manly's been a bit leaky lately. Like if you think on the weekend, they're leading 34 points against the West Tigers. For goodness sake, how do they score that many? Granted, the week before was only 10 points against the Warriors, but then it was 24 against the Raiders, and then it was 34 against the Roosters. If the Dogs are going to put that sort of number on the Manly as well, because that's what recent history sort of suggests, Burton will have his hands over a couple of those tries, especially now with no Crichton for the week.
But
So I actually think Burton will score quite well.
You've made a good point. I mean, they let 34 points in last week against the Tigers, but not one of them scored above 86 points, and the person who scored 86 was Fanu. Their next score was another 2RF, and that was Seyfarth, and he got 82. And then the hook at Coruscant got 81. And then from there, it went down to Papali'i at 65. Like, so Supercoach wise, whilst they led him 34 points, no one scored anything Supercoach.
yeah, the Supercoach numbers weren't really, I suppose they're not really there for him, but then you can say the same thing for Manly too. Scoring wise, they scored all those tries. It was after Turbo, it fell off a cliff all the way down to Garrick in the 60s.
So doubled.
Garrick got got a hat trick. Turbo got a hat trick.
Yeah, of course you're going to score 100 and something when you get in a hat trick, unless you're, I don't know, any random shitty winger that just puts the ball down, but he does everything for him. So I see where you're coming from, though, Joel. Like, they do leak. That's their problem. They just win games by outscoring them. I think you can put the Cowboys in a very similar position too. Their attack is fantastic when they're on, but they concede some shit tries. But you don't get punished really for how many points you concede. So you're only getting looked at by the big ones. Let me just get this one back up here. Zach Lomax is a big popular trade-in for Casey McLean. I'd say big popular trade-in. I really like it. It's a massive jump in cash, but you've probably been able to make some things work in the last couple of weeks, especially trading Cleary out. Still only 1.3%, but it is in the top 10. It is quite early for the week. Eli Katoa to Isaiah Yeo is up there. It's the first time I've really seen Isaiah Yeo come into big trade discussions, but again, I suppose you're not really taking into account the chance that he could rest. Like, do you think Penrith are in a position to rest any of these guys, or not with their ladder now?
Can't now. That loss on the weekend stuffed them.
Yeah.
Yep. That put him back in the pack.
Yeah. Most popular trade, number 10 anyway, Jerome Hughes to Nico Hines. So it's just another Hines trade in. So it is pretty conclusive. It's been these same group core player traded in and out for a while. But is there anything here, like I suppose with the head-to-head side of things, with the selections he side, because I was talking to someone earlier today about it, and he's got a full strength team. Can put the whole side out there, and he's got his reserves, and he's like, oh, I want to trade in for Sam Walker as an example. But then if you're taking his reserve off Plath, and it's like, okay, what do you think the points difference? And you can put it into the discussion every single week that you're doing trades anyway, because like, who's this guy going to outscore most into the next guy? Is this the kind of week where you wouldn't just be looking at getting another player? Would you be more comfortable, especially for the head-to-head finals, chasing the matchup, dropping the guns? So like, if you weren't confident that Turbo was going to put big points on the Dogs, but you love the Ponga play, is that somewhere you'd be going more so and just going all in, risky as hell?
Or to win my cash head-to-heads, hell yes, I would.
Yeah. I think that's great, and I think it's wild to see, because there's a lot of it happening out there. I know some people are trading Garrick out because he's been pretty average of late, still decent value. You can get a Toto, you can get a Lomax comfortably. Like this is the time, this is the ticket to just bang it out. But I suppose it's kind of tricky because I haven't really had the luxury of looking myself, and that's the easiest way I can kind of talk about this is because I'll make about 10 million trade templates for the week and screenshot a lot of them and then overthink all of them and then annoy these two. I haven't been able to do that.
True.
It's all over. That side of things is dead to me. So I'm looking at it. Oh, you're annoying. Yeah, I know. 100% agree it would be. So I haven't really had it. But Trav, I know you've got one trade and it's pretty standard issue getting Hines in. It's a bit boring, but have you looked at anything like that? Trading out any of these other guys?
No, because I don't have the cash for it. So I actually, you just made me look, and I thought, oh, you just said Garrick to Lomax. Hell yeah, I'm going to go look at that. I don't have the cash for it. So my other so my thought, well, Garrick's 567, Lomax is 712, so I need 150k basically. I've only got 80. So only 80k, I think is a good price, but a good cash bank, but and really good cash management, boys. You'd hate to have any more than 100k in your bank left over after all your trades are used, eh?
Whoops! God, I got 225k in the bank, boys.
You're way over 100k. So I've then I looked at it and thought, I just said Dom Young would get 3 tries, so I can't trade him. So could I go Eero? Because I can, because Eero is basically Eero is actually more expensive than Lomax. So
is he really?
Yeah, he's 717. Lomax is 712. So
he is too.
He's 5k more expensive. So I mean, I could do that. I could do the Eero to Lomax play. Geez, that makes me look. Oh, that turns me on.
I feel so dirty about trading Eero out. God, he's been good.
No way.
God, and I know I don't want to, but Man, Lomax. It's Lomax.
It's pretty good.
I don't, and I've said since the very first podcast that I joined you guys back in week 12 or whatever, round 12. I'm keeping ear. I'm not even looking at it, but God, Lomax is appealing the next 2 weeks. Yeah, so it's either I don't know. So I've looked at that. Yes, I think there's play for it. And as I said when you asked the question, to win my cashy of my head-to-heads, hell yeah, I'd be making trades like that. Turbo to Ponga this week, I think, against the Bulldogs. Like I said, I'm playing Turbo because I've got him, and I think he's still going to score a half decent score. But I'm captaining Ponga, so I've got Ponga and my captain against that matchup. So I just of the Gold Coast Titans. So yeah, I think the Turbo trade to a Ponga, if you've got the trades, is a really good play. Play and win your head to head this week.
Go Turbo to Teddy.
If you've got the cash for it.
No, I'm telling you to go Turbo to Teddy.
Me?
Yeah. You haven't had Teddy all year.
Oh, I just thought about it. Yeah, I could do that too, eh?
There's one.
There's a sideways trade of all sideways trades.
Yeah. Not really, though. If you think Teddy's going to kill them this week, the Raiders.
Oh, he's going to brain it.
I like that more. It is a tricky one this week, I suppose, but it's finals. You know what I mean? Like, you just got to look at your team too, and you'll know what your opponent's team looks like pretty quickly. Once the round starts. At the moment, I'm still projected to be beating Joel, but I've had a look at his side.
To go with your mate who was talking about whether he'd go Plath against Walker. Like, Plath's in doubt this week, so I think that's almost a given, and I think we play Walker this week, no doubt. Anyways, so just watch what you do with that one to help that. But there is a lot of people who own Plath, so that's certainly a play that you've got to look at too.
Yeah. Captains and vice captains are going to be huge this week. I'll just bring up the most popular captains in the top 10%. I think it's probably going to be quite obvious. It is Tedesco. The Sunday captain is going to be a massive play for it. And I think you can probably put Ponga up in there as well. Yeah, Teddy's 42% captains. Tom Trbojevic is 26%, funnily enough, quite early on. Against the Dogs too, which surprises me. And then Ponga, 14.9. And then it falls off quite quickly. Then you're down into the 2s and the 1.5%ers. So obviously quite unanimous across the board. And with the vice captains, Joel kind of touched on it earlier. Val Holmes is his captain, and that's the most popular, 28.8. You can't really go wrong with a Thursday vice captain. I think it's the best option for you. Garrick at 10.3. And then it just kind of simmers down a bit. It's actually quite spread out looking at it. Tom Turbo's 8. Cherry Evans, 7.5, which surprises me too. Zach Lomax, 6.2. I love the Zach Lomax vice captain this week. I think it's better than the Val Holmes one, to be honest. What are you, Trav, you haven't really spoken about your captains and vice captains, besides obviously captaining Turbo. Who's your vice this week? I didn't even.
I haven't even looked at that really, because I've just been very confident that Pongers were going to be my C, so I haven't looked at all about what I'll do there. The Garrick VC plays, I mean, he's playing the Bulldogs. I don't like it at all. And I was talking about Garrick sitting. So I don't have Val Holmes, but I think Val Holmes is a wonderful play against the Storm. If you're a Drinkwater owner, I think Drinkwater is a wonderful VC play for the Storm against the Storm. If you're a Munster owner, I think although Joel's point is really valid, does he just walk around and run the boys and make sure they get in and out and fly back down to Melbourne ready to play Brisbane next week? I think everything's still going to go through him. So, and as you boys said, they're leaky, there's still going to be some scores. So I think that's going to come through Munster's hand. So I think he's a good play for that as well. If you're a Dill Edwards owner against the Rabbitohs, that's a really big and good play. So don't forget about that.
0.1%.
Yeah, don't forget. So there's, Dill Edwards is forgotten and a bit of a forgotten man, but he's playing the Rabbitohs and no Cleary. And we know that when Cleary wasn't here, His
He's a
scores
weapon.
were huge.
100%.
Yeah, he was a weapon. I'm also sorry, Joel. I'll finish there and then I'll go. I'll just say my last point. My last 2 points is I think Lomax as a captain play this week is huge. And if you wanted to play him as a VC, it's good. But I would VC him and then go into Teddy as a captain or someone on Sunday, which is either at Ponga. But yeah, I think you can comfortably. I honestly think you can comfortably put a C on Lomax too if you're an owner of him. And then, as I said, I think the Teddy play as a captain is just a no.
Oh,
I think he's good. Has his battery gone again? This is 2 weeks in a row.
God, he needs to plug that thing in. He's
the point I'll make now is I actually feel like the fullback numbers are pretty low because most out there either have Ponga, Teddy, or Turbo, and they'll be their captain or VC wherever they choose to go with that. So if they've got a Drinky, if they've got a Dill Edwards, whatever, they're on their reserves, and obviously you can't double up there. So I think he's coming back in now. So we're
back.
good.
Did your laptop die?
My internet decided to do a reset.
Oh, lovely.
Nice. Love that.
Yeah. I think it's kind of at this point of the season too, and it's obvious why it's happened because they're the best three, when they're available. But yeah, that Teddy, Turbo, and Ponga, like little trio, it kind of kills the option for all these other guys that were so good earlier in the year, like Drinkwater and Edwards and these other guys. It's a bit of a shame because they were so solid. Like I had Drinkwater for so long, right up until I think second 5 Origin. Yeah, and Edwards for ages too, and now they're gone, and it's like I don't necessarily wish I had them back because the options we have, all three of us have a different combination of the three of them. They're all killing it. They're all doing.
And you can't trust Edwards compared to say the Teddy or Turbo or Ponga this week. I don't. Yeah. I think all three of those will score higher than Edwards this week. So I can't entertain it.
Yeah. I suppose unless you don't have one of the three and you kind of want to make that play for it, I can see the trade getting in any of those three, but I kind of don't really see justification about dropping them unless it's for one of the others. So, but who are you? This is where I kind of want to get an idea about your team, Joel, this week because I am curious. Sits and starts. You've got the luxury of depth. I do not. So tell me what you're doing.
Bringing up my team, I actually did a little bit of a play around just before you guys were talking a bit of Supercoach geeky way, so I'll let you guys go, and I just played around with my team a little bit. At the moment, looks like I'm going to be players that have the green tick still. I won't be playing Sam Hughes. I won't be playing Tallis Duncan purely because it's the Penrith Panthers and it's at Penrith, so I just feel like he won't get much of a go, even though I was very tempted because he's been named to start once again. He got a 64 last week. I'm not playing Jai Gray either, purely again because it's Penrith. Now, got some kind of temptation because he's just always busy. He's always doing something. But at the moment, I got Turbo on my bench. I got Marju. I got Garrick. I'm a bit against Trav with the Garrick statement. I just reckon Garrick can still score enough to warrant being picked in a side at the moment at this time of year with like McLean's out and stuff. If he can get like what he did last week, a 60 or something against the Dogs, I'm more than happy to play him and get that. So I'm happy to have that as a reserve. I've actually got Joe Chan on my reserves at the moment. I didn't think I did, but I still do. Cool. So that might change. I think 80 minutes. If I can get 80 minutes out of him against a Cowboys who can be a bit leaky at times, he might be able to find a crash play over the line or something. So I don't mind.
He'll play 80.
Joe Chan.
He'll play 80. Yep.
He'll definitely play 80.
Cool. When Joe Chan plays, he gets point.
That was half the reason why I was sort of surprising that they let him go so early in the season and dropped him anyway. Yeah. But it was surprising that he was named.
Had a massive re-signing for like 3 or 4 years now with him. So
yeah. I mean, he's
highly of him.
He's a future player. I think he'll play 80, and I think he's still pretty highly. I think he's still well owned.
He is well owned. Yeah, this is a headache you couldn't get rid of.
He's a headache you couldn't get rid of, but has come for a blessing in disguise, basically.
Yeah, 100%. Big week for it. Yeah, with a no Teddy captain. Just trying to get into your brain a little bit. I'm going to do the math now.
You can potentially suggest a Teddy captain, yes.
Yeah, fair enough. Trav, your side
Yes.
before I.
I currently have Turbo on the bench with the R. In my centres, I've got Garrick with the R at the moment, and I'll decide whether I keep him or put it to Isako. I'll decide that later. But at the moment, that's where Garrick is. I'm playing JC this week. The matchup against the Knights, I think, is a good matchup for him. So I think he's going to at least get the score that he got last week. I've currently got the play on my last R on Plath, but I'll be watching as to whether he plays and what happens. If Marshall King gets picked and Plath goes back to his 2RF spot, I'm tempted not to play him against the Broncos in that role.
No, makes sense. I have very, very few players to choose from this week. My bench, I've got Ponga, I've got Marzu, and I've got Terrell May, who I actually haven't played in weeks. It's probably been straight after Origin since I've played him. And I haven't needed to, but my last option, it's out of Sam Hughes or Jesse Arthurs. I hate it. It makes me feel sick.
As if you're not picking Jesse Arthurs. That's an easy
I am
pick.
picking Jesse Arthurs. Yeah, it's with Curran sort of named through just on the potential that he does something. I'm just praying this is the week he doesn't score another 25. I think it's against good opposition for him to do something, but it'll be a very unlikely scenario that he goes over for 3 tries. But if it happens, holy shit, it'll be the pot of dreams that buries Joel's chances, and I'm so hopeful for it, but God, I just can't see it happening. But yeah, that's the luxury I've got to work with. I was hoping for McLean. Didn't happen this week because I did know that the depth would have been tested. Galvin's on a bye. Got Hughes out. Got no Porter, unfortunately. I don't have that one. That's not a Joe Chan sort of flip in that I've missed. But again, they're on a bye. And yeah, no one else I have in my side plays. So
Who's your
my starting
5'8"?
team's good. Campbell. I got Jaden Campbell. Yeah. Because I traded Dylan Brown out for Cleary. So they're both gone now. Waste of a
It's going to
trade.
be close. It's going to be close.
I think I've used like 5-6 trades on Cleary this year, honestly. It's just so many burnt ones.
I feel like you boys should do the same captains and just let it play out with the rest of your teams.
Well, my captain's on Teddy. It has been all week, and I've been looking at it, trying to contemplate another option. And the only other option I can think is Ponga. And I'm glad they both play on Sunday because I'll be tossing and turning that decision right up until kickoff for the Knights game, I think. But by that point, I should know what the week's going to look like. I'd like to hope.
Hey Joel, the winner of your matchup's the better Supercoach player between the two because it's a 27 week fight, isn't it?
Yeah,
so,
pretty much.
Yeah.
It's an easy.
Let's throw your overall ranks away.
This means something. Let's not kid ourselves. This one means something.
Yep.
The Creators Cup really means. This is the only one I even told. Like, I think we've both spoken about it for a long time. I'm like, this is the one I want. Yeah. This is the one that I've got my heart set to. This and the drafts, and I've got a chance for both. But I know Joel's going to be freaking desperate. I'm glad you don't have a trade this week because it'd be something brutal.
See, because all it tells our listeners, Jesse, is that you're not overly intelligent on the Supercoach play, because you haven't built your depth. We've been talking about this the last 2 rounds of how much there'd be restings and things, and you just haven't prepared. Joel's prepared. He's ready to go. Like that. That's a true Supercoach player. Well done, Joel.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
That's all right. Maybe Joel can jump 5,000 rankings in the next 2 weeks and actually beat me.
I reckon
I'm favourite.
But
let's all just talk about the overall ranks, blah, blah, blah.
What else is there to talk about? I'm in a head-to-head final against him, and my overall rank's above him, and I'm in a draft final. So who doesn't get Supercoach?
Your depth is horrible. Playing Jesse Arthurs.
That's all right. My depth is horrible, and I scored 1,500 last week. So it doesn't matter about all these players on my bench that I haven't chosen. it's a good thing. I don't have the unnecessary headache of too many options. I've just got a very solid group of players, and I know who my reserves are. Why waste coin on players every week that I'm not using?
I suppose, I mean, you had 240k in the bank at the moment with no trade. So, yeah, why play with the coin? Eh?
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
we're
the whole point of it
just trash
wasn't.
talking, Jesse. Don't
Yeah,
stop being defensive.
nah. Well, you know what? If I had one extra, it was just had to trade Cleary out. I
Yeah.
was like, fuck. I wish there was a
And he
halfback
was
that was
so highly
900k.
priced already.
Yeah, I was like, I just wish there was a halfback who was 900k, so I don't feel as bad about having all this extra coin. But that's the thing. Like, how many trades have you used this year on players you had no intention of getting rid of?
Oh, heaps.
I could say probably about 20.
Big lesson this year.
Yeah, it's been there's just the amount of injuries to key players this year has been the downfall. And I suppose like it's so easy to go, oh, I'm just going to hold these trades, and all of a sudden your hand gets forced. The Hines thing killed me after losing, what was it, 500k, just money gone. But you both got off him when you needed to.
You were so stubborn with Hines. We'll talk about this in the off season, but God, you were so stubborn with him.
Yeah,
It
I
was
just thought,
so
well,
funny.
he's going to come back. Like, I'm going to want Hines for the run. And this is the same thing that's happened. Like, I got Cleary in and then he got injured. Then I got him out and in and out, in and out. I thought, if I'm going to have him and I'm going to want him to the end and he's fit, I'll just keep him, even if he does drop cash. And then he obviously dropped it all and then wasn't fit. And I was like, oh, shit. That's the worst thing that could have happened. But there's so many. It's happened all year. Suspensions, Origin. And now we're all out. But that's the joys of it all. So, is there anything you guys wanted to sort of touch on? Final thoughts?
No,
Good luck
good.
this
Yeah,
weekend.
I was just going to say the
Me
same.
too.
Good luck to all your head-to-head grand finals. Good luck to you boys. May the best super coacher win.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, thanks for another good potty. Welcome back, Joel.
Oh, I just want to
Welcome
shut
to-
this bloke up this weekend. I really want to shut him up and wipe that smirk off his face.
I think you've got a good shot. So
Oh, he's look at him downplay it now, just so that
I know the game he's playing. He's not
Yeah,
playing it with me.
100%.
He's not playing it with me.
you think I've got
Downplay
this
it.
other motive? I've got all these other intentions. I'm fucking being honest with you. But all right, done. No, you got no chance. All right, good luck, everyone.
That's what
Good
I
luck
want to
in your
hear.
head-to-heads. Have fun. Enjoy your super coach. And we will catch you next week for the final round, I suppose. See yous.